All right, folks, a lot of pressure on my man Ricky Craven. You know, I've been writing the NASCAR Power Rankings for ESPN.com for, I think, 3 years now. So I kind of got it down, Rick. See if you can keep up.
You've done a great job, but there's a reason they brought some help for you.
Okay, all right. Here's our top 10 in points. As it stands right now, of course, Kyle Busch is your leader. We have kind of a goofy top 10 because we're just 2 races in. My top 10 actually starts with a guy who's not in the top 10 in points at all, and that's Kevin Harvick. That's based on the fact that I think he's got 4 great tracks coming up for him over the next 5 weeks. My next guy up is Mark Martin. He's overcome 2 bad starts to actually come up with 2 pretty decent finishes. Ryan Newman typically starts the season terrible, but he's actually off to a great start this year. A.J. Allmendinger, my beloved 43, is in 7th. And in the 6th spot is a guy who I had in my top 2 on ESPN.com just last week. That's Carl Edwards.
Okay, well, I got A.J. Allmendinger 10th. He's had a great start to the year, but I want to see him sustain what he started. Ryan Newman had a nice top 5 at Phoenix. He comes in at 9th. Then I'm going to bring Denny Hamlin in, somebody you don't even have in the top 10.
Not yet. He's coming, but he's not in there quite yet.
I'm putting Denny there because he's going to be there.
Yeah.
You know, and even though he had a slow start, it's better than what he had last year, which resulted in 8 wins. Kevin Harvick, also kind of a slow start, but he gets the Kevin Harvick premium. He started like he did all of 2010 at Phoenix. He finished like he did all of 2010 at Phoenix.
Yep.
He hasn't lost a thing. And then 6th would be Tony Stewart. He's 2 tires away from being in the top 5. That was a bit of a gamble early in the season. Might have cost him a few positions.
In the 5th spot, I have the champ, Jimmy Johnson. And again, this is a guy that we know is not going to hang around in that 5th spot for very long. And in 4th, I have Tony Stewart. And again, would have had him higher, and I think he could have possibly won the first 2 races of the year this year, but like you, couldn't figure out why he took 2 tires. Up next, I got Kurt Busch. He's 2nd in points, but he's 3rd on my board. And in 2nd, I have this weekend's winner. That would be Mr. Jeff Gordon, even though he's just 5th in points. Let's move him right there. And then, and I hate doing this, but I have the points leader, number 1. And again, has anyone had a weekend like he had this past weekend? Almost swept all 3 races.
Yeah, well, we've seen it before. Remember, he did it at Bristol last year. I've got Kurt Busch, 5th. I've got Carl Edwards. Where's Carl? Carl had a great end to last year and a good, strong start to this year. Could do nothing about being taken out at Phoenix. And then I've got the 48. I gave Harvick a premium for what he did last year. I'm giving the 5-time champ the same premium.
You like what they did last year.
Yeah,
I don't factor that in. He likes to factor in last year.
The fact is that Phoenix is a much greater reference of what we're going to see the rest of the year than what we saw at Daytona. Even though Daytona is the greatest race of the year, very little correlation between what we see at Daytona and the rest of the year.
And he is pretty
good.
Now,
here's where you and I really, we're going to debate for a moment, because how can the guy who won, that would be the 24, catch, maybe give a little bit of a bump, pass and drive away from the 18, and you have him 2nd? There's no way. Jeff Gordon deserves to be number 1 based on what he did at Phoenix.
There's only 2 guys on this board. Only 2 guys on this board have 2 top 10s. That'd be the 18 and the 22. The 24 gets a bye because of the win. You want to read more about the power rankings, go to ESPN.com. We post them every Monday.